All right, let's get this rolling.
All right.
All right, everyone, so I brought in Vito Scamarcia in today. Give us a little information on wellness in the workplace and healthy eating and things related to keeping everyone in good spirits. So hopefully you get a little bit of something for everyone out of today. Vito's been in school way too long, learning way too much, and hopefully you can share some of that goodness with us
very true.
here
Has
today.
anybody ever sing clean lyrics to you?
A few times, yeah.
Can you do the painting?
Okay, I like it. I like it already. So first and foremost, I want to thank you guys for joining me today. I appreciate the time and commitment. I know we're going to be here the next hour. I hope you guys get something beneficial out of this that kind of help you as far as the workforce. I gave some examples as far as things that you can do today that'll help, I think, really help you now and your lifetime. Okay. So to begin with, I essentially give you a little bit of background. My name is Vito. I have educational background and owner and strength coach of Acu Athletics. It's my job to pretty much get athletes in shape, but I also do nutrition as well. I have background in nutritionist, biology, exercise science, as Derek kind of alluded to, a lot of degrees. Okay, so I'm not going to say that all at once. Essentially, me here today, I'm going to be talking about overall wellness in the workforce. Essentially, what does it mean and how we can combat it by giving and doing different things as far as supporting one another when it comes to that. Kind of a little bit of the topics we're going to talk about. Have a little bit of food labels. I don't know if you guys can see this. We're going to be talking about food labels, how to read them, how to know what to consume, looking how to fix a broken diet. Everyone talks about a diet, talks about what essentially you're going to be doing for a diet. Also, that kind of moves into portion control. I'm going to show you a simple way to watch how much you're going to consume, accessibility to food. You guys are in a really prime location where you've got Portillo's down the road. So, I'm going to show you how you can change and modify different ways of eating. We're also going to show how to incorporate a more active lifestyle here in the workforce. Simple things that you guys can do together that'll help you lose weight, help you with nutrition, and some healthy options as well as physical activity on mental health and depression in the workforce. So essentially, the first question I ask is, what is wellness? What would we say wellness is? Can anybody define it? So, you don't have to say it all at once, but what do you guys think somebody that is healthy, what would you suspect wellness is? What do you think? Anything? It's okay.
Having enough energy to survive for the entire day without feeling tired or drained.
Sure. I'm going to play a little devil's advocate. Would you think that's made based upon your lifestyle choices?
Yeah.
Figure out to have energy, yeah? Okay. General definition is an active process of being aware of making conscious decisions towards health and fulfilling your lifestyle goals. It's being more free from illness and the process of changing and growth. My question though is, do you think it's right for a certain class of social class to get that wellness? Meaning, if you have higher amounts of income, is it easier and more attainable to get wellness versus somebody in a lower society class?
It's easier, but it shouldn't be.
Why?
Why? Because usually the people that need it more are the people are the lower incomes, but yet it's more expensive than going to McDonald's and getting a cheeseburger for the $1.
She's exactly right. You know, society tells us that you have to be making a certain amount of income essentially to have wellness. I think that's an entire misconception. For me, it's about what we put in and being consciously aware of what we put in our bodies, whether it be food and the drinks and the physical activity. It's our conscious decision to change that. Nice ringtone, I love it. So essentially, I don't think wellness is just limited to one social class. I think it's accessible to everybody. It's just more or less being educated to know exactly what kind of foods, what kind of drinks that we're consuming, and overall how to develop our mental health when it comes to that. So along the terms, everyone talks about, first thing is when they go on a diet, they want to talk about, I want to go and fix my diet. What does that mean essentially? Would you say this is a healthy diet? I would probably say that's wrong. Pizza, hot dogs, chips, I don't even know what are those, curly fries? Essentially, everyone talks about a broken diet. What is a broken diet? I think what you have to realize is that when everybody is engaging and they're talking and they're eating kinds of foods, it's a social gathering most of the time. They don't even are consciously aware of knowing what it is they're putting in their body, why they're putting it in their body. Most of this food right here, I don't know if you guys can see the pointer, essentially causes a lot of deficiencies initially. What I mean by that is everyone has a slogan when they go on a diet, it's, I gotta fix something. You know, I'm gonna work out at 6 a.m. in the morning, I'm gonna drink a bunch of protein shakes, I'm gonna do X, Y, and Z to do it. I'm not gonna lie, in the nutrition world, that's pretty impossible. I call it mission impossible. I think it's very stressful to say to yourselves, hey, I can do this for X amount of days. We get a lot of people coming to the wellness clinic who wanna just lose weight. And we recently had a lot of the holiday season, they came in, they worked out really, really tough. Next thing I know, 6 weeks later, they're gone. Why is that? Commitment, exactly. And it's the same way when it comes to food. You gotta be committed to putting the right amounts of food into your body. And a lot of that stems from being consciously aware of what we're putting in our body. I think a broken diet to me is one where you're not getting proper nutrition for your psychology. Your body might be different than her body. Everybody in society tells you have to eat a specific amount, and I go a little bit later in depth in the conversation as far as what that means, as far as for your body type. Essentially, there's signs and symptoms that are associated with nutritional deficiencies. Tiredness, rigidity, mental cognition. You have issues with bone density. As we get older, we have to consume different types of minerals and different types of vitamins. Calcium, vitamin D, magnesium. Not only that, we get a lot of bruises. We're slow to heal. We're not back when we were 15, where we can fall and boom, we're good. Nowadays, I would say that most of the nutrition that you get is not equal to the same value that it used to be even 20 years ago. And why is that? Why is that changing? And I can kind of explain that a little bit later on, but you have to be careful of knowing the amount of food that you put in your body and how to fix it. So my question is, what are the 3 things you can do to get you back on track to fix a broken diet? And remember, I say a broken diet is one that doesn't give you nutrition value. So, first thing, you have to identify and remove the nutritional deficiencies. I cannot tell you, based upon how many times people say to me, well, I need to eat X, Y, and Z. If you're on a diet, chances are you're most likely having some sort of nutritional deficiency. And that's big. So you have to adjust the food and eat the different amounts of foods and types, specifically in a work environment. It's really tough. You have colleagues that have, one person has a sandwich, the other one has a pizza. It's like, oh, and then all of you guys want to go out and eat. Once you understand the food amount and the food type, you can remove it. So exactly how do you remove nutritional deficiencies? That is the random questions on how to fix a broken diet. A lot of people use supplements to fix it. The word supplement is a supplement. It's supposed to supply you with nutrition that you're already getting. Well, if you're already getting nutrition that's already deficient, are you really getting the proper terms? You're already eating on a broken diet. You're not eating, essentially, or taking supplements to supplement you. You're eating it because you have deficiencies. So there's a entire misconception here. Here's a recent study. It is the United Department of Agriculture in 2019. It literally said that here's the percentage of the population of how many vitamin deficiencies we are based upon an American diet. If you notice, vitamin E, folate, calcium, magnesium, vitamin A for vision, C for our immunity. We get very sick because we're not having a proper vitamin E or C, which are antioxidants that help support us. Calcium for our bones, folate, vitamin E. Right off the bat here, this is due to an American diet of nothing but consuming nothing but fast food products. That's astonishing to know that 86% of the people don't have vitamin E consumption. That's an antioxidant. It's very, very good for your body. Not only that, they did a study that shows that most likely the amount of people who are deficient in 3 things: vitamins and minerals, proteins, and essential fatty acids. Very, very important when it comes to overall development of brain. Here's a study by the International Society of Sports Nutrition. Essentially, they had athletes go on a popular diet, the DASH, the South Beach diet, and they concluded that they were deficient in 6 key micronutrients, which are iodine, vitamin D, K, E, zinc, and calcium. You can probably make the distinction, though, that our physical and lifestyle changes tend to go hand in hand with our aging. Will we all agree? I can probably say we can agree to that. So your overall needs as you get older, your calories go down. But when we eat that kind of foods, it gets bad, right? Water is a big thing that we have to consume. There's a lot of vitamins that we need, and I kind of discuss that a little bit later on. But yeah, here's another study, pretty much that shows one key note. It's hard to get all the essential vitamins and minerals from the food alone. That's why we do supplements. The problem is if you're not eating a proper diet to begin with, why aren't we getting a proper diet? It's because we're not consciously aware of what we put in our bodies, specifically in a workforce environment, since that's the kind of presentation I'm giving. But every single diet was deficient in at least 3 nutrients. That's astonishing when you really think about that. Okay? Let's go. Come on, computer. Technical difficulties. Okay. So are they common? Bottom line, they are very common. Chances are, if you tend to go on one diet that says, oh, I'm going on the DASH diet, South Beach diet, or I'm going on a ketogenic diet, chances are you are deficient, no matter what. That is what the research is saying out there, that if you have dietary deficiencies, it doesn't help. So how do we combat this? There's several areas. We have to take a look at overall why. What happens when we have nutritional deficiencies? You can make the claim with nutritional deficiencies, you're going to end up getting fat. The reason why you get fat, why do you need to lose weight? Because it's not good. It puts too much pressure on the endocrine system. All these organs, ovaries, testes, pancreas, kidneys, thyroid, thymus, and pineal gland, all have negative effects on the body. When you have excessive fat in the endocrine system, your body creates and stores fat. And that is the problem. We can have nutritional deficiencies can cause hormone imbalances, which produces more fat, which has vast effects on a lot of different things. Decreases our emotional and self-esteem health when we're in the workforce. So if you're consuming a bunch of food that contains a lot of fat, chances are high cholesterol, you're going to have some sort of emotional self-esteem issues associated with that. Research is saying that it's a lifestyle modification too. Increasing the risk of organ failure, circulation, health, heart disease. We've all heard this. Strokes and cancers are associated with too much gaining of fat. What do you know? Society is overweight. Okay? So I can essentially say that having excessive fat, now here's a key note I want you guys to write if you guys are taking notes. Excessive fat can vastly make your health, body composition, and athletic performance weaker. Going up and down a flight of stairs, you'll be winded. Going towards the bathroom, you'll be winded. What I'm getting at is losing weight helps excessive fat gain. Okay? Let's take a look at how the United States compares to all other countries. What's the biggest thing you see here? Can anyone point that out to me? It's pretty obvious. United States. We have the biggest consumption of people over the age of 15 have a BMI, body mass index, with body fat percentage at 31%. Look at all the other countries. It's the lowest. Why is that? We're in a country that mass produces food. To what extent? We have all this food, and they tell us, you have to eat this, you have to eat this, you have to eat this. They don't educate us enough to know and tell us why it's so dangerous for us. And I think it starts with educating ourselves. If they're not going to do it, we have to do it ourselves. Okay? I should mention that fat is not bad. Don't get me wrong. Okay? There is good fat. Good fat is good. Bad fat is bad. You have to understand that. There is different ways. Fat is needed naturally in our body. Oh, bless you. Essentially, it plays a role in the inflammation process, okay? You want to be consuming high-density lipoproteins. That means it's high, good quality fats. Your flaxseed, your hemp seed, chia, olive oil will be good, omega-3, sardines, salmons, that kind of stuff. Those are really healthy for you. Good high-density lipoproteins actually combat the low-density fat. They're showing that issue with excessive fat gain in bloodstream leading to cardiovascular disease is usually tied in with those who have high levels of LDL. Okay? You want to make sure that you stay away from trans fats and saturated fats. In the next slide, I talk about how to read a food label. And I kind of get a little more in depth in that. But you have to understand fat is different for every category. It might be different by your age, your standard, your sex, your gender, all that stuff. Okay? It's different. You can make the assumption that in my next slide, there is a general body fat percentage. Essentially, most of the population is in this category. Flat out. I'm going to flat out and say that. Okay, this is from bodybuilding.com. Essentially, this is a big one for the American Society of Sports Medicine. You want to be here in the green area, right? How many of you are in your 40s or 30s, okay? See, many of you probably between your 20s and 40s right now, okay? Take a wild guess where you should be for your age and register with yourself. Does that seem right to you? Could, cannot. You have to, go ahead.
How's a good rate, how's a good way to find your body fat?
I go into that a little bit of a difference. There is a calculated estimation equation that I have where you can determine where your body fat range is. Okay, so I did include that, and I'm going to send that out to you guys in an email, so remind me on that.
And that's just based on height,
Height, weight, body
gender, height,
circumference.
and weight, right?
Essentially. You have to understand that we need a solution. You can pretty much indicate based upon this that our success rate for losing weight as a society is pretty shitty. Excuse my French, but it is. We have surgeries nowadays where you can get liposuction, but the success rate of surgery is 10%. Within 2 years. I have a friend of mine who lost weight and gained weight really, really easy. Within a year, he gained back more weight, if not 20 to 30 pounds more. Because he went on one of these fad diets, and I kind of alluded to that already. A fad diet correlates a nutritional deficiency. He wasn't doing what was needed for his specific body type. That's different, okay? You have to get out of the idea of calling it a diet and changing it for a lifestyle modification. Because that's what it is. I think the word diet itself has a negative connotation associated with that. Diet should refer to something of, when we talk diet, everyone talks about it as a short duration. You shouldn't be talking about it as a short duration of time. You should be talking about it as if you have kids, if you have children, you're an uncle, you're a niece. I have nieces that are 3 or 4 years old. I don't want them seeing me not being able to carry them when I'm 40 years old or when I'm 50 years old. I don't want that. Who wants that? I don't think anybody wants that. Be an image for future generations by taking ownership and knowing what you're putting in your body, essentially, is what I'm getting at. So knowing how to read the labels, knowing what kinds of foods to put in, and also know what kind of drinks to put in. I think then you can make the estimation and declare that healthy eating is essentially just eating for your body type for the long duration of time, not just for a short period of time. And I think that's I think change needs to be implemented, and not enough people are doing that. So to start off, you need a plan that works for you. And I think the first way to combat that is doing it. But why can't we do it? Because it's hard. We don't want to lose weight. As Arnold used to say, losing weight is hard. Being fat is harder. Pick your heart. This is a bodybuilding tip. Essentially what I'm getting at is that the problem is collectively, we're not good at losing weight. Why? We have all these fad diets out there. We have magazines constantly telling you how we should look and what we should be eating and what we should be consuming in a long duration of time. Does that help? I don't think that helps. If anything, it discourages us. I think we have such a bad image. I think our perception of nutrition and our overall body composition is based upon having negative and not having a positive interpretation of what it means for our psychology. And I think that really hits home to a lot of us. Like I said, I have a friend of mine, gained weight. 95% of the people who are overweight go on repeated diets to gain 20 pounds more because there's a short duration of time. There's a percentage. Between the ages of 12 and 17, those who are overweight have doubled since 1980. So if you have brothers, sisters, or family members between the ages of 12 and 17, chances are, at least by statistical knowledge of the U.S. Department of Agriculture, they're going to be gaining weight, double than what it was in 1980. That's alarming. More than 75% of people are overweight right now. 75. So essentially, I think you have to really rule out fad diets. That's the key, by knowing what fat loss can be helpful. Okay, you need a better solution. So here's a better solution. Now I put together this slide. It's kind of all over the place. So I'm going to break it down really, really simple for you. Okay. Serving size. You always want to make sure, is it more or less? When you're consuming sugary snacks or drinks, always read the food labels. They kind of have an issue where it might be this might be for 1 serving, but yet if you look on the top, this might be for 2 servings. So you want to make sure the serving size. Are you eating more? Are you eating less? Essentially what I put. Next thing, the amount per serving. If you see 120 calories into 25, if this number equals that number, chances are you're eating a really bad product that consumes nothing but fat. Nothing but fat. So how many of you like chips? I do. I love it, right? Chips are really salty, really bad for you, right? Why? It's got a lot of fat in it. If you look at the calories from fat, most of what you're consuming is fat. Mostly specifically trans fat and polysaturated fat, which are the two things you should avoid and limit. That is that LDL fat. The good fat, the monounsaturated fats. You want more HDL, so monounsaturated fats, okay? But if you're noticing in a total fat, if any one of these, saturated, trans, and poly, match 3 grams, chances are you're consuming a fat product. See, that's how you break it down, okay? You want to make sure when you're consuming cholesterol that you get good, you don't get hydrogenated oils, bad oil, fatty oils. You want to stick to nothing but olive oils, maybe even coconut oil. Stay away from anything else. The vegetable, the stuff that's all fried that we use in a lot of Chipotle and a lot of organizations like that, okay? So make sure cholesterol is 0. Now here's the kicker, sodium, potassium. You need sodium and potassium for action potential in your brain, your muscles. That helps you when you breathe, okay, taking in, when you're working out and everything like that. Very, very helpful for potassium. You hear bananas have a lot of potassium. Why? It helps. Helps with your heart too. So it's very, very good. You want to make sure potassium, natural daily amount is 20% of your daily value of sodium. So you want to consume sodium should be less than 24 milligrams, but 5% is considered low, 20% is high of sodium. Okay, very important to know that. Now we get into, here's an equation. You guys don't really need to know this. The biggest thing I really want to talk about is carbs and sugar. Protein. Protein's a kind of a misconception on a lot. If you're an athlete, the truth of the matter is, people tell me per pound per body weight of protein is what you're supposed to consume. If you're a 150-pound man, you need 150 grams of protein to offset or keep where your current weight is to build muscle. That is yes and true and not true, and I'm going to tell you why. Your body excretes it. It uses the nutrients that it needs to. Everything else gets pushed away. You don't need it. Your body will use what it needs. Specifically, if you're on a deficient diet, your body will try substituting that with something else. So you need to get the proper nutrients. And the biggest thing I want to talk about now is carbs and sugar. This is huge. This is kind of getting into the sugar craze and the sugar addiction. Okay? Here's a key note. You want to make sure that total carbs and sugar don't match. You see how this has 17 and that has 19? That product has a lot of carbs and a lot of sugar. Two of the biggest things that you need to watch out for. Because what happens is when you have carbs, sugar is going to go up. And I kind of go a little in depth about the whole glycemic index and as far as insulin and how that affects it. You want to make sure that your sugars are less than 5 grams of sugar per serving. Now remember, this is 1 serving is a cup. If this thing says 2, you're getting double that every single time you drink or eat something. That is the thing that kind of blows my mind, essentially, is that there's so many products that have hidden gems inside here that they don't tell you about. Okay? So what's a great way to substitute that? If you have something with a high carb and a high amount of sugar, fiber. You want fiber, and this one only has 2 grams, which is okay. You want at least up 2 to 5 grams of fiber. There's research in the Journal of Diabetics that literally shows you that if you consume stuff that has, it's a high calorie, high sugar dense food like this, with high fiber, chances are it'll help prevent your cravings later in the day. Keep that in mind. If you are consuming something like this, make sure it has fiber in it. It offsets the sugar. Very, very important. Part of the reason why sugar is so addictive is that it's designed to be highly addictive. So if you can match and offset that by having fiber, do it. So you can combat that with different kinds of carbs. Fario. You guys ever heard of Fario? Fario, F-A-R-R-O. Okay, it's a product that you can consume. It's 9 grain. What you essentially want, it helps with fiber. It's a good product to offset if you do any rice or anything like that. You want something with 9 grains. It's barley, buckwheat, fario, quinoa, okay, and humo. Those are the tops. If you want to find anything, high fiber foods that contain any of those 9, and I only gave you like 5, that helps with the glycemic index. So your sugar levels balance out. What happens is that your pancreas essentially produces more insulin to offset the sugar that comes in. If you consume something with a lot of sugar, it creates blood glucose levels to go up. To combat this, the pancreas produces insulin to offset it, to balance you out. If you're diabetic, that's completely off. And I'm not going to go into too much depth about diabetes 1 and diabetes 2, but it has a lot of effects to that. If you don't have insulin to rise up, it can't combat that blood glucose. It's a problem. Then you lead on to diabetes. Okay? So to manage that, to help a good influx, sweet potatoes are good. Brown rice is good. You want stuff that are whole grain, that has more fiber, that are low in glycemic index to offset many sugar products and carbohydrates. Okay? It prevents you from creating those spikes. The biggest issue I've seen when it comes to sugar is that it's highly addictive and it's in everything that we drink and eat. We're going to play a game. How much sugar do you think is in each one of these? I think we can all make the assumption that the first one, water, has 0. Right? What about the other one? I want you to rethink what you're drinking here. And I'm not going to single anybody out, but if those who will enjoy pop and drink a ton of pop, you know how much sugar is in here? Sugary snacks, sugary drinks, and I just alluded to in reading the food labels, you'd be surprised. In a 16 ounce of Coke, okay? In all general, in a 20 ounce of Coke or any type of sugary drink, 16 teaspoons, it's this one, is in all those products initially. 16 teaspoons. You have to understand that the sugar in a lot of sodas are invisible and condensed. You can't see it, you will never see it, and they want you to have more of it. There is an alarming statistic out there that says pretty much that there's more than 16 teaspoons of sugar in a 20-ounce bottle of Coke. All right? Here's what you want to know. A study that was published in 2015 by the Journal of Diabetes found that the swapping out just one sugary drink can decrease your risk of type 2 diabetes by 25%. Instead of having 2, have 1. That right there gives you a 25% chance of not having type 2 diabetes. That's astonishing when you really think about that. Really, really astonishing, okay? And you can't really give it off the hook just yet when it comes to Diet Coke. There was another study that was shown in 2015 by the Journal of Geriatrics that said that those who drank, they tested diet soda and abdominal obesity and circumference, waist circumference, ages over 65. So those adults over the age of 65 were 3 times the amount of abdominal obesity and waist circumference than those that were non-drinkers of pop. That's crazy. Crazy. You're 65 years old and you're 3 times more likely to have weight gain than somebody who doesn't drink pop. Now imagine you're guzzling down this every single day. Sometimes we're drinking 4, 5, or even 6 different types of soft drinks. In this case, sugary drinks. You might have 2 Diet Cokes, a Red Bull. What I'm getting at is that essentially you're looking at yourself guzzling it down, extra calories, extra sugar. Not really good. Pretty much the Journal of Public Health made a claim in 2016 that literally said that those who drink diet soda, it doesn't matter if it's diet, it doesn't matter if it's a vegetable drink, okay? They have loads of amounts of sugar in it. They show that there's an increased risk of heart disease and diabetes and an increased rate of obesity. You're 3 times more likely to be obese and suffer from a heart attack by drinking than you are eating. That is from the Journal of Public Health. That was 2 years, we're in 2019, that was 3 years ago. It just came out, and it hasn't changed. Okay? So, you can imagine if you're sitting out in a conference room like this and we're drinking, we're all talking, we all got our drinks. Can you imagine how much of that we're consuming in our bodies and how dangerous that really is? Not only are you getting the extra calories, you're getting the sugar load. So what happens to the body? It affects the kidneys. And essentially, it's not better if you have sweet flavored drinks as well. It's just as bad. That's what the research is saying out there. There are better choices out there though, and I kind of allude to alternative choices. The thing you have to understand is you want to see the sugar. It's addictive. Why is it addictive? You want it, you crave it, you're going to eat it. It's that simple. Creates dopamine. Dopamine gets released. It's a feel-good hormone. Makes you feel good. Dopamine gets released in the brain. It creates addiction. Addiction increases insulin by the pancreas to offset that glucose. When you have these types of products, it increases sugar in the blood, called blood glucose. When that happens, insulin rises to offset that, sugar drops completely down. What do you think happens? It creates immediate fat storage. Your body creates more fat when insulin increases. That's why we're so heavy. We're craving all these sugary drinks and all these sugary products, but we're not understanding that it creates more cravings for us. Our body wants more once the insulin goes up. It shoots it back in, creates more cravings because your blood glucose levels are low. So then what happens? It repeats it all over again. That's how dangerous it is. Most companies have artificially changed their products to be able to absorb and take in more nutrients, or in this case, more sugary nutrient drinks. They pay millions and billions, and I said that billions with a B, to offset and change the composition, chemical composition of sugar to make it more really highly addictive. To the point where it changes your psychology and your behavior. And some have speculated it could change our effect on our behavior and in the workforce, and overall how we feel about one another, our partners, and how we're working in our lifestyle. Here's a typical scan. No eating. Look, there's no response. These are receptors on somebody who doesn't consume sugar. Okay? This is somebody who is on sugar. What do you notice? This is a brain scan. What do you notice here? That lit up like a firecracker versus somebody who doesn't. So what can you make the distinction? It stimulates your brain, changes your behavior, your psychology, how you feel about yourself, and it can mentally lead to overall mental depression and fatigue just by consuming drinks. And now more research is out there is being studied, okay? It's highly addictive. Sugar is 8 times more addictive than cocaine. Cocaine. It's highly more addictive than Adderall. Now, if you know anything about drugs, they give Adderall to children who have ADHD, learning disabilities, etc. It's crazy when you really think about it. So what can we do? So first thing we have to understand is, how do we combat that? Think before you drink. Here's a common comparison between water and sugary drinks. Sugary drinks, we know. Heart disease, cholesterol, inflammation. You want to know why you're bloated and feel like bad problems and you can't go to the bathroom? It's the sugar content most of the time. You want to know why when drinking water is healthy? It helps bowel movements. Not only that, it's nutritious. Water helps. First thing in the morning you should do is drink water. Your water is 74% water. Your body is, at least. Okay? It's nutrient electrolytes. Your body is an electric being. It needs water to conduct. Think of it that way. Okay? But not only that, it'll help your weight loss. There was a study, and I recently did another presentation at another conference. There is a study that's out there. If you consume 2 extra glasses of water, 6-ounce things of water, okay, it'll help you with weight loss. Overall, the duration of a year will help you lose about 6 to 7, 8 pounds just by drinking water. That was a recent study done, okay? Not only that, it helps with absorption. Obviously, I think the comparison speaks for itself. But how much water do we drink? Now, I'm just briefly talking about water. Drink water when you get up, and I kind of allude to the reason why. Over 24 glasses of water per day is kind of unhealthy, I'm not going to lie. You don't need to. Average studies say it's 8 and 8. 8 glasses of 8 ounces of water is 2.5 liters, 2.5, 2.7. Essentially, when you want to drink it, always carry a bottle of water next to you. If you're going to consume something with a high sugary drink, at least have some water with it. It offsets the sugar at least. At least do that for yourselves. Because if you don't, I kind of alluded to what sugar does to your brain. And imagine that over a long duration period of time. Keep a log if you want. Set up times for you when to drink. Most people have their Apple Watches set telling you, hey, hydrate, breathe, that kind of stuff. Really good for you. Remember, there's other sources of water you can get in your body from other sources. Fruit. Fruit has a ton of water. Okay? But essentially, 8 and 8 is what they're saying. That holds true in a lot of different types of, as far as different types of cultures and nationalities, 8 and 8 is usually what you want to do, okay? So how much water do we consume for our body type? Now everyone asks that. So, I'm about 170. I should be consuming about 75 ounces of water, give or take, okay? That's roughly about 4.5, 16.9 ounces of water in a given day. That's a lot of water for somebody. But you know what? This helps clean out the liver. Like I said, over 72.8% of water intake. Your body will thank you if you drink more water. And it'll also help you with weight loss. Okay? Which isn't too bad. With that, what can we do besides water? There's other alternative healthy drinks out there. One is green tea, right? Infused water. If you have an infuser, you can go down the street, we're here at Target, in the dollar bin. There's an infuser. You cut up fruit, put fruit in there, put water in there, boom, drink it. That's an infused water. You don't have to pay for, I don't even know the companies that are out there nowadays, but you can save yourself. Get fruit, it'll last you for the whole week, and you got infused water. It helps you save money. It's also more nutritious because you get the fruit benefits of it too. You have to understand though, with green tea, you can go natural by doing green tea and unsweetened teas. Green tea is good, beneficial. It has a lot of helping effects in reducing different types of cancer, heart disease, obesity, kidney stones, and could help with cavities too. So it's a win-win. Not to mention, green tea also has a lot of antioxidants, really, really good. Helps with oxidative stress in the body. Every typical day of stress, whether we're sitting at a desk, we're stretching out, our boss yells at us, for whatever reason it is, essentially, it's good. It's a good way to stabilize. Kind of calms the nervous system down a little bit. That with Campbell meal is really, really good for calming your nervous system. Okay. I talked about this a little bit. I didn't add it in here. It was vitamin-enriched water. I say stay away from it all. A lot of sugars, a lot of calories. You're just going down the deep path on enhanced water. Okay. Unless it has fiber and it balances out with proper electrolytes. I don't like saying there's some drinks that you can drink that are out there that are very flavored in color for post drinks. I'm not going to say any names because I'm on camera here. But let's just say just mix it with some water, okay? Because that will help offset the sugar loads. You could also do fresh vegetable juice. I like celery juice, pomegranate juice. You got to be careful of pomegranate juice. This is literally juicing at its finest. Pomegranate juice, you got to be careful. It has a lot of sugar in it. Natural sugar, but it has a lot of sugar in it. Although with vegetable juice, you do get more of the properties of the vegetables itself, the fiber, all that. A lot of the fruit juices have a lot of sugar. So remember, now that I kind of alluded to in how to read the labels, you want to make sure that the sugar and carbs are somewhat relatively one or the other. Don't make sure that they're balanced. That will, in a long period of time. So, natural rule of habit, you can probably do 1 part juice to 3 parts of water. Think about it that way. That would be a healthy alternative to do that. If you can't do fresh juice and you are milk intolerant, lactose intolerant, you can do alternation between soy and almond milk. That's been shown to be beneficial. And then you can also do coffee. Unfortunately, too much is not good. A little bit is good. They're saying 400 milligrams of coffee is beneficial for you in the long term. That's from PubMed in 2013. But too much will leave you jittery and anxious. So maybe you want to figure that out. And if you put dairy into the milk, you're actually not doing any justice because you're now adding more sugar and sweets to it. I know it's kind of tough, but if you're going to drink coffee, unsweetened coffee is beneficial for you in the equivalence of about 6 to 8 ounces. I think 400 milligrams. Don't quote me on this, but It's roughly about two cups, maybe 3 cups a day. And a good thing, if you're noticing a nice alternative, if you're noticing you're depleting your fatigue because you're nutritional deficiency and you don't have the proper vitamins during the afternoon, vitamin B vitamins during the afternoon, B6, B9, B12. After 2 o'clock, you'll notice that'll get your energy back up. That's also a great alternative to combine with healthy drinks. So you have a B complex shot with water, put it in there, drink it in. It'll help put your alertness and get you ready. Yeah.
What's the sign of diabetes? What are some of the signs of?
Let's save that for the end because I talk about that a little bit as far as the side effects on it when I talk into eating for your body type. So now that we kind of go into healthy drinks, okay, that's an alternative. That's some stuff that you guys can do here. But it's not just related to drinks. It's also related to what we eat. That's kind of my meme here says, you are what you eat. You notice he looks like a hamburger, and as you are what you drink. That's a very true statement in any facet of life. The big question I'm going to ask you is, they all tell us we have to eat a specific way, right? And I kind of alluded to this earlier, it's about portion control. Well, we know what we put in our body, how much of it, right? What do you guys think a portion control is? Is this a portion? Yes or no? Probably not, right? Okay, I'm just going to shoot that out.
portion.
It's a nice portion, right? This is probably when you had a hard day of work and you want to have a drink with this, okay? Let me tell you, this is a photo taken from one of the North Shore in Chicago. Okay, now don't give what the name indicated, but this is an actual serving size that they give you. I don't know about you, but I don't want to eat a baby. Okay, that thing is huge.
It's getting in my bag.
Yeah, exactly. So I think the first thing to combat portion control is we're at a game, we're eating wings and beer, okay? We go to our favorite pizza joint, we're watching the game, right? We just keep eating. One guy says, let me have another beer, let me have some more chips, right? I'm getting at is we are not consciously aware of how much we're eating. And that starts being consciously aware of what we put in our bodies. Not only what we drink, but what we put in as far as food. So a good way to combat that, what if I told you the most simplistic way of watching portion control isn't counting calories, isn't looking on your watch and saying, I need 500 deduction today. No. It's not like that. What if I told you looking at your hands is a simple tool that you can use to simply determine your portion control. This alone, if you used your hands, probably last you 3 meals, easily. Right? So with that, what I mean by that is looking at your hands. Now, I have a sheet I have for you guys. It's in my bag. Remind me, I have to give it to you. It's a copy of this. Okay? Essentially, this is a simple guide for men. I have one for men and I have one for females too. Essentially, looking at your hands. Very simple. Vegetables, look at your fist. 2 fist size. So I want everybody to take a look at their fist. Okay? Go ahead, take a look at your fist. Okay. A big fist, your fist, that's determining how much servings you want of vegetables. A cup, so make a cup if everyone wants to do that.
This is per day or per meal?
This is per serving, per meal.
Oh, per meal, okay.
Every meal that you consume, if you're out with your friends, you're out in a conference, you're eating with your colleagues, look at your hands and say, wait a minute, that's a little bit too excessive. As it kind of alludes to, it's 2s all the way down. Your fist, for fat, fingertips. Look at your fingers. It's a great tool that I uncovered from Precision Coaching. Okay, I'm affiliated with this organization. You look at their thumbs. That's how much oil or how many nuts you should be consuming. Okay? Carbs. It's a handful. Look at your hand. How much you can put in 1 cup. For men, it's 2. 2 cupfuls. That's how many carbs you should be consuming per serving. Protein. Protein's pretty simple. Look at your palm. You've heard of that. It's about 3 to 5 ounces in your palm, given different ratio of handling. It's a simple tool you can use to combat a lot of portion control when you have issues. You don't have to count calories, okay? Because let's face it, that's a pain in the you-know-what. Okay? Counting calories and figure out, I need such and such, and figuring out macronutrients, protein, fats, and carbs is really, really difficult. There could be user error involved with that, okay? There's also for women. Same thing for women. Only difference is it's 1 all the way down. Same philosophy, just 1. And I'll give you guys copies of this so you guys can take this home with you. But in the end, you do this, you'll start to feel better. Because essentially what you're doing is limiting portion control. How much you're consuming per serving, and just by looking at your hands. Overall, you will look and control how many calories are coming in, create caloric restriction, and it avoid the hassle of actually counting calories if you're on one of these diets, okay? Not only that, you'll start to see change in your body type from it. But again, this is good, but then you also have to think, how do I eat to my body type? Everybody's different, right? How do you know what to eat for your body type? How do you get from A to B? I already alluded to several ways. Watching what we eat, what we put in, reading the labels, what we drink, limiting the sugary snacks, and also portion control. You can do that here in the office. If somebody has a sandwich or something like that, or you make your own meals, it all works out. In the end, you can know what to eat for your body type. This is different types. When I studied it was these types: ectomorph, mesomorph, and endomorph. I go a little more in depth in each one. The new terminology is it's an I type, a V type, and O type. So I kind of explained to you how to eat based upon your body type, using those portion controls I just alluded to, okay? If you're somebody, so first thing you gotta know, there's different body types, okay? Men and women. Some of us might fall in this category, some of us might fall in that category. Some of us might be in a happy medium, right? This is a general concept when I'm teaching. This is ingrained in stone to let you know, hey, yeah, it's great for you. This is a general representation as far as, okay, this is what you can do. It's not the rule by any means, okay? But it is the starting point. I think part of people, when they want to eat something, they don't know what kind of body type they are. What works for Mrs. Jones ain't going to work for Mr. Jones, and vice versa. It starts with knowing how to eat, and we kind of alluded to portion control. What does that mean? Okay, we already showed you different ways by using your hands as a way to combat some of it. Now, how do we apply it to our different body types, right? Those for a V type, you're thinking of those that are your bodybuilders, your wrestlers, your hockey players. That's probably the most body type. This is this type. These are your athletic individuals you see in models, athletes. Okay, has a ratio of 40-30-30. 40 carbs, 30 protein, 30% fat. General rule of thumb, these are mixed diets. These are your athletes who are getting balanced carbs, fats, and proteins. So if you want something and you want to balance by carbohydrates and determine ratios, it's a 40-30-30 split. Don't really need to know that. It's just more balanced. Okay. These are your thick, endurance, athletic athletes, big, strong built. Okay. Those in O, endomorph. Hence the reason why it's an O. It's got a circle. These are your linemen, bigger boys, okay? Guys that are in the front lines in football, think of sumo wrestlers pushing when they're coming off the block, okay? They tend to have more fatty diets. Consume high fat, high amounts of protein, not enough. So what do you think the ratio is there? It's the opposite, right? It's 25, 30, 40% fat. These are guys, they like the fat. It's good for them. Okay, they have a larger bone structure typically, so they have more body mass, more fat to push around. But think of the power lifters, your throwers. Those are type O, okay? They typically have a slower metabolic rate. You can make the distinction that different body types have a faster metabolism. Those that are O may not have something or a fast metabolism. Those that are your runners. Okay? So what I get into, I didn't talk about the I type. These are your ectomorphs. These are your collegiate athletes that are running, full distance runners. Okay? They want more carbs. I believe that ratio is like a 40, 30, 20 or something like that. I don't know off the top of my head, okay? But they have a fast metabolism, extremely fast metabolism. What do you think if she eats versus what she eats, what do you think is going to happen? If she's not consuming enough carbs, and she starts increasing more fat, chances are she'll be turning into an O type. Everybody in our whole life, we can go from O to I to V, etc. I've done it myself, okay? We've all done it, okay? The key is finding a weight that's more suitable for you. So how do you do that? So I just broke down the portion control by using size, right? Here's the breakdown. Now, you came in a little bit late, so I'm going to fill you in real quick. We used our hands to determine portion controls. Okay, so palm is protein, a fist is vegetables, your thumbprint is essentially fat, okay, and carbs is a scoop.
Okay.
So what I did is I broke it down. If you're that ectomorph, you're essentially that athlete who runs, who's very lean, very cut. This is the breakdown for it. For this is men who are ectomorph, 1 thumb of dense foods, okay? Berries, 3 cup handfuls of carbs. Remember, fruit is carbs too, and the sugar, natural sugar in there, okay? Quinoa, everything, protein, vegetables are 2 fist sizes. So if you're somebody who is a runner or somebody who actively engages in that body type, this is a simple, generalized form concept to use to eat. This is what you should be eating per serving, okay? This is also for women. Women, the same thing. If you're a little more slender, leaner, if you want to reduce your caloric intake and shift your body to an ectomorph, say you're maybe an endomorph, you want to shift and lose some weight, this is what you should be consuming, this type of ratio, which is 1, 1, 2, okay? 1 palm of protein, 1 fist of vegetables, half a thumbprint of fat, carbs, 2 cupfuls. Okay? These are more or less your endurance athletes, dancers, climbers. It doesn't mean that you can't eat like this though. Okay? Yes, this might be for your body type, but you have to understand, if you're a trainer and you're an athlete, if you reduce your caloric intake by 1 of these, you will lose weight. That's what I'm getting at. Okay? Remember, it's a generalized concept. It doesn't work for everybody. These are V types. Remember, hockey, wrestler, mixed martial artists, fighters. Thick, solid, strong build frames. Same concept. This is your most balanced one. 2's all the way down the board. That's simple. Women, it's 1. 1 palm, 1 thumb, 1 cup. Pretty simple. These are your individuals that you want to get lean, go on the beach. These are your models. Traditionally, models are very thin. But if you want to have a little more meat and you want to have more of a balanced approach for women and men, consume this. This is your normal guide to what to go for, okay? And then these are your endomorphs. These are for the guys that are a little bit bigger, okay? Instead of, if you want to know how to portion control for somebody who's a little bit bigger, stick to this one. This one would be good. Instead of having, 5 grams and having a pot of pasta this big, okay, I'm Italian, I love my pasta. If I have pasta this amount, that's a lot of serving of pasta, okay? If I'm a bigger guy, I don't want that much. Maybe I want that much. So follow this and rule. This is where you can utilize this when you're eating here at work. You can utilize this when you're eating at home. Okay, whether you have kids or you don't have kids, this is a great demonstration of diligence and hardness and just overall being good and being honest with yourself and being consistent. This creates consistency over a long duration of time, okay? So what can we do? Now we know portion control. There are some options that you can do. 3 options you can do to keep foods available here in the office. As I can allude to, Sunday ritual. This one, people don't like doing. You don't have to do it on Sunday. I just said that. It's a ritual, okay? Essentially, you're making your own meals. Prepping. You don't need to do it on Sunday. Remember that. Don't need to do it. Take 2 hours for yourself. Plan the week ahead of what you want to eat. Go shopping for the foods you want to shop for and the dinners that you want for the week. And make extra bulk of it. Okay, very, very beneficial. Here's the key thing. If you want chicken, don't put 1 piece of chicken in the oven. Put 8 pieces of chicken in the oven and cook it for the whole week. Chicken will last you 2 to 3 days roughly. If you make any fish, eat the fish within a day. 2 max. Fish has to do, meat can last you about 2 to 3 days. If you have to, freeze it. What I would do, make extra, put it in meal containers, write what's in it, and put it in the freezer. When you come home, thaw it out, put it in there. I do that for morning breakfasts too. It creates my daily ritual. Sometimes the night before, I'll make a protein shake, whatever I have to, or I'll make, what I do is I cook eggs, scrambled eggs, I'll put some meat in there, some vegetables, I'll wrap them, and I'll freeze them, individual bags. Then when I'm ready to go or something, I take them out, pop them in the microwave, and I'm eating it on my way to work. Simple. That's a simple, yeah, go ahead.
How do you avoid getting that nasty taste of reheating meat in the microwave?
That's a tough one. You gotta steam it, but you don't have time for that. So this is an alternative. I see what you're getting at, but I would probably say most likely it's taste buds. You gotta make it the way you want to make it. Like you could do for daily ritual, you could do oats. This is a good one. Prep the oats ahead the night before. Have them soaked. Take them out, drain them, put a little bit more water in them, boil them. Take them with you. What I like to do is put the oats, mix them in a little mace jar with everything in there, okay? Put water in there, then I put my fruit, I put all my other stuff, shake it, and eat directly out of the mason jar. That's another option for you, okay? Which is pretty good. Not only that, it's good. You know, the daily ritual is tough once you have to get in a routine. But after a couple of days, a couple of weeks, it's like night and day. I take Sunday off a lot of the time to do what I want to do. Sometimes I don't get to it. So like for breakfast, you do dry oatmeal, which is here, which I kind of alluded to. For salads, put your dressing at the bottom in a mason jar, add stuff on top of it, add your fruits, close it, shake it up, take it with you to work, boom, your lunch is already made. It takes you 60 seconds to do that. You have 60 seconds, we have 60 seconds just sitting here looking at our phones. I think we do 60 seconds of doing that, right? If you have extra, same thing for dinner. Make it extra, freeze it, take it out, boom, you have it. If you're vegan, you don't want meat, okay, you can do a vegan dish. Same concept. Reheat, put it in the oven. That's what I would suggest. If you have the time, put it in the oven or steam it. If you don't enjoy, here's the third option. If you don't enjoy cooking and you don't have time and you're all over the damn place, healthy meals are made for you. You can call and go on Google and say, I want a healthy meal, and it'll deliver it to you. You can Google that right now. Healthy meal delivery.
That's what it's called?
Yeah, that's what I found it to be. It's healthy meal delivery in your area. And that is the huge difference. If you don't want to cook and you don't have time, you can still get nutritious food.
Paying a premium.
Paying a premium, exactly. They're paying for it. But then you have to think about it. It's healthy, you're paying for it, versus regrettably getting the bad food and paying all that money for the bad food. So at least there's one positive for that. Okay? It's a simple thing you could do here in the office. Now, the thing I want to talk about a little bit, and we're getting towards the end here of our slides, our mood. Having deficiencies leads us to, when we're in a working environment, we already alluded to that sugar, everything like that causes us an issue when it comes to nutrition and overall mood stabilizers. It could create a lot of depression. There is a theory on the link between eating like junk food and having and being depressed about ourselves, and it doesn't help when you're in a workforce environment. It actually aggravates and increases how we feel.
I'm pretty sure it's been proven. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a theory anymore.
So yeah, she hit it right on the head. Thank you. I was trying to be very nice about it, but thank you. I appreciate that. So here's the thing. There's depression in 120 million people worldwide, according to the WHO organization of the last year's study that they published. 120 million, that's crazy. Okay? So the question is, do you think nutrition can make us happy? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Why?
Because I don't know if you hit this where I was going, but they say you are what you eat. And if you're eating healthy, then you're healthy. If you're not eating healthy, you're not eating healthy. Then you're searching to find and fill that void somewhere else.
Yep, exactly. She's absolutely right on. There's other factors too, okay? It fights inflammation. It can make you happy. There's strong possibilities that do support that nowadays. Getting enough amount of nutrients, the right amounts of nutrients, your brain won't settle for something else. It won't compensate. Your brain and your body are big compensators. They compensate no matter what. If you're not getting nutrients, it'll get us from somewhere else to make you feel good. Whether it's junk food or anything like that. I would say one study suggests that processed foods increase your chance of depression by nearly 60%. Okay? Think about that. Nutritional deficiencies, like what we already showed, can show mental health problems. We all know this. So why would nutrition be healthy? I'm going to tell you. Fights inflammation. They say that it helps with the gut bacteria. You have to understand, probiotics are good. Pre and post probiotics are good. They think that your stomach is the other brain. When your brain, in the developmental stage, let me see if I remember my anatomy correctly. When you are born, it separates between the brain and the stomach. They kind of separate in the embryonic stage. Okay? Your brain essentially is another brain, or your stomach, excuse me, your stomach is another brain. So treat it like one. So if you're, okay, this is really beneficial. It's gut bacteria. If it's out of whack, its job is to get rid of bad stuff. But if it's out of whack, what do you think its job is? You get leaky gut. Things leak out. It's not good at all. That's when you start hearing your gluten intolerances, your IBS issues. And not to mention, blood goes to that area. If you don't have the right amount of blood and you have too much sugar in the blood system, the blood can't operate into the gut. What do you think is going to happen? The gut doesn't work well. Bowel issues, depression, and they're saying that that brain that's in your stomach leads to depression. So overall, healthy gut bacteria, so probiotics are really, really good for doing that. It can make you feel better. It's a mood stabilizer.
What are examples of probiotics? You keep mentioning it, but you didn't say what.
Okay.
What are those?
I get to it. Save your question till the end. I get to it, okay?
Sure.
I'm almost done here. Essentially what you want is foods that allow circulation through the system. Okay? Good overall. You want to make sure you have serotonin, which is a neurotransmitter. It's a memory. It helps connect from the brain to the memory. It's made in the gut, not in the brain. Serotonin is made in the gut. The feel-good hormone is made in the gut, not the brain. Everyone thinks that. So if you take care of your gut, you're most likely going to take care of your brain. It's that simple. Okay, that's what that says. Nutrition fuels mitochondrial production. Everyone knows mitochondria is the cell producer of the body. Your body is an electric being. It's an entity. It responds like electricity. Okay? What I mean by that is it plays a function in brain function. Gives you energy. It also helps with cognition, mental disorders, and depression. If there's a dysfunction, all that goes down. So if you lack energy, you're not getting the right nutrients that give you deficiency in all that, what do you think is going to happen? It's going to cause more depression, mental issues. Now you pat that on something else, more stress induced, and you don't have the right nutrition for that, it's going to be worse. So it's very good that you have to mentally take care of your body, not only what we put in our body through food and water, but also what we put in to take care of our brain too. Okay? Also helps promote neuroplasticity. What that means is through developmental. It helps adapt and regrow itself. That's neuroplasticity, okay? Big word essentially to say that your neurons are constantly changing. You feed your brain with good stuff, chances are your brain is going to remember by having signals like it is in a computer. You guys, I can try and kind of sort of relate this to IT work. You have a kink in the chain. You can't get the signal out, right? What do you want to do? Release the kink. Same thing with your brain. That simple. You have a kink, by giving it a deficiency, the brain can't function with all the other parts of the system. Okay. The last part is that what feeds our brains? Okay, omega-3s, B vitamins, D, selenium, and tryptophan. Tryptophan is what you see in turkey. Why does it make us feel good? Creates serotonin levels, makes us feel really good. Okay, that's the reason why for that. So what are some things that you can do? If you're noticing that you have any sorts of depression associated with nutrition, here's some things you can do. First thing, start small. Walk around the block, walk around your office, get a fellow coworker and say, we're going to go for a walk. Okay? If you have to, if you like it and you're noticing some issues with it, do what you used to love. Take the dog for a walk, playing out, playing touch football with the kids. If you have kids, something that you enjoy and love, recreate that. Okay? What I would suggest is taking a colleague or somebody here in the office and trying new experiences. Okay? Say, find a new pleasure. If you guys want to ride your bike together. They still have those two bikes with the belt ding ding, okay? Maybe I'm dating myself, but essentially, try new experiences. It helps one another. Having a colleague you can speak to when you're going through depression, whether it be through nutritional deficiencies or anything else, is really, really a great way to combat that. Whether it's get support. Okay? Try it. Whether it be a therapist, a trainer, a doctor, a friend, having people around you, as kind of alluded to, and tell them that you want to try different forms of activity. Physical activity has been shown to help with depression. Okay? It could inspire you. You can find enjoyment with them. But also maybe figure out on doing a community focus group. You can implement a workout here in the office. During lunch for 20 minutes, you guys just doing a bunch of jumping jacks. or somebody be more active, okay? Have one person a week say, you know what, I'm gonna do this today with the group for 10 minutes. We're gonna do 20 jumping jacks. Next person in the other week says, we're gonna do 20 sit-ups. Each person has a week that they do something for the entire week that they control. Make it a game out of it. Whoever lasts in the week at the end of the month wins a prize or something. You can do it that way. There can be incentives towards that, I'm sure. Another thing is 5 would be get outside, nature. Nature is the most common thing you can do if you're stressed out about work and you don't know what to do. Walk, get your feet. If it's nice outside, walk around. Put your feet in the ground. That's very calming. Nature is natural, therapeutic. Okay. Mix it up. Add strength training, HITs, high intensity training intervals. Go to the gym. Join a CrossFit. Okay, if you're new to that, they have levels, different levels. I know we do it too. You start small and you increase it. That's new experiences. It kind of hits on the top 4 that I suggested above, but those are things that you can do here. Why don't you make it a weekly, month thing where you guys do a fitness thing? That works too. Or one of you picks something else that you want to try. Not only shows that, it shows you guys are all part in the same category if you guys feel it. Okay? If you feel that way. Be consistent. Whenever you have a chance, move. Whether it's you sitting on a couch, you got to pick up a beer. I know that seems counterintuitive, but move. Get up and get the beer. I mean, we don't have robots that can give us a beer and bring it back. Well, I don't know yet, okay?
That's what children are for.
That's what children are for, exactly. But if you get the chance, move. Get up, be a role model for other people if you have children, okay? And 8 would be gentle and be patient. Don't beat yourself up. Very, very important, okay? It's not about achieving for perfection. It's achieving something that is good for you and yourself. And that's the most biggest thing here. So I give you a couple ways to combat a little bit of mental health. Talked about how to limit sugar, how to watch for dietary restrictions, okay? How to eat for specific things. What can you do though? I talked about how we can meal prep during your work. What about healthy snack options? There's another thing you can do. This will help the nutrition. This will also help a little bit of depression. Bad, obviously you see it. Potato chips, candy, cookie and cakes. Please, I hope that you guys at Firelogic do not have any of these stuff here, okay?
You will not be checking our kitchen after this.
I will do that.
You will not be checking our kitchen.
So here's some stuff. Here's some good options for snack options. You can prep this ahead of time, as I alluded to, for portion control. Peanut hummus, cottage cheese, oatmeal. Add some protein into that. Bananas and almond, that'll help to get the flavor out too. Tuna and crackers. It's always great. If you're going to do that, lemon on the mayo, please. Okay. I like it with salt, pepper, and lemon. That's a really great concoction with some avocado. Tuna salad, salmon with sweet potato, egg omelets. Here's a bunch of options. Greek yogurt, berries, and granola. I hyperlinked it so you guys can see essentially published studies that support this. Okay, that's some healthy options. Very simple. Remember, I told you, palm size. Look at your hands as an indicator of how much for serving size. That was per meal is what I showed you. That includes snacks too. Okay. Also, physical activity, kind of alluded to a little bit. Well, here's some additional benefits of what it can do. Changes start in the mind. It's that simple. Starts in the mind, being consciously aware of what we put in our bodies through food and what we drink. But also, it's our mind when it comes to physical activity. You want to make a decision, right? You want to make a decision and we want to be physically active. Starts in the mind, not in anything else. It's the mind. We have to consciously be aware and make that decision. There's some benefits of it. Changing the mind helps. Physical activity can help curb stress chemicals. Okay, can help with support neurotransmitters, boosts endorphins, feel-good hormones. So physical activity is good. Actives, I've already kind of alluded to that a little bit. Snacks, walking your dog, taking the bike to work. These are things that you can do. Just take 10 minutes, walk around the whole building. You guys got a big building here. Walk around there and come back. 9 out of 10 times you probably feel really good about what you're going to do, okay? Other than that. Also, it's been shown to help you lower cardiovascular disease. I think I mentioned that in there, okay? So what are some exercises you can do when you're for posture? This one was kind of a bonus one for you guys, okay? Essentially, you guys sit in IT, you guys are gonna see this constantly day in and day out. I already talked about physical activity. These are some simple exercises that you can do at your desk. If you don't wanna do physical activity and go to the gym or something, even anything is better than nothing. And a lot of times I see a lot of ITs come in, and this is where I specialize in, essentially inhibited. These shut off, these turn on. Okay? Upper traps, levator, scap, you're going to see aches and pains in the back. Everything in the front is going to be like this, and it goes all like this. Okay? We're not supposed to be designed like this. We're supposed to be designed nice and upright, tight. Okay? Now I'm going a little past where I'm at, but I'm essentially, it's called an upper cross pattern. This gets really tight, this gets really weak, and you start caving in. Same thing with the lower body. People who sit have shutting off of their ass muscles. Excuse my French when I say that, it's the truth, okay? Your butt muscles shut off. What do you think turns on? Your hips. Okay, your abs shut off too. This gets shut off. What turns on? Your back. Everybody says, oh, I'm sitting in the back, I'm sitting on my desk. You get back pain, why? All these muscles are shut off. So what I do is I help re-stimulate these muscles. Help move motor patterns, help with nutrition and dietary restrictions and stuff. And I help you do it. This is a great demonstration of what turns on, what shuts off. Pretty much everything that's not in gray is the thing that turns on. So I get a lot of people who come to the clinic in the office that don't have this. How do you fix this? So the worst thing that ever happened was computers. I hate to say that, guys. I know I'm in an IT building, but the truth of the matter is it was, to some extent. It actually does so much damage on everything else that it just does that. So 3 exercises you can do. Bridges. You can do on a wall. Now I was going to have one of you guys do this, but I'm not going to. I'll just demonstrate it. Chin tucks. Okay, it's going to look really stupid, but I promise it's really beneficial. Essentially, you're going to be making a double chin. If you're at your desk, sitting, tapping, take a break. First thing I'm going to tell you is chin tuck. Bring your chin back. Make a double chin. I like having my gun. Thumbs at my chest. I guess that doesn't help when you have a depression talking right after we're talking about this. But thumbs here, index fingers here. Stick it up. Bring it in. Stick it up. Bring it in. It helps the flexors, turns on your neck flexing muscles, shuts off the traps so that you don't have aches and pains in the neck. The job that it's supposed to do is these neck muscles are supposed to help keep everything up when you're looking on the screen. Very helpful. First exercise, okay, is chin tucks. Next thing, working your rhomboids. Remember how I said that this comes in, these get shut off, these get over hyperactive. You want to make sure you go into extension. So good exercise, I call these my back wings. You'll be sitting at a desk. Can everybody see me real quick? So you're here, you're typing. Your projector should be eye level. Shouldn't be low or shouldn't be too high because you want to be like this. You're going to get a kink in your neck. Everything should be eye level. So if you have a desktop, put books underneath it and raise it up. Very beneficial overall. So keep your elbows in, chest is up. My shoulder blades are back and down. Okay? I'm not like this. My shoulders are up, and that could be helpful for you because you're on the phone a lot. So what I'm going to suggest for you, get a headset. Use it if possible because that'll help save you. So anything like this, it's probably the worst thing you
My
can do.
issue is this.
Yeah. So stay upright, okay? And it happens, but I'll get that, okay? Elbows are in 90 degrees. You're tightening. Squeeze the shoulder blades. But if you can't stay here, every 10, 15 minutes, stop and do this exercise. I call it my hitchhikers. Thumbs are up here. Elbows are bent 90 degrees, and I'm pulling my thumbs back, squeezing my shoulder blades. That's it. It opens up the chest. Remember, because we were in this position all day long. I want to make sure we're in extension. Bring the elbows back and pull. And pull. 2 simple exercises. If you have any bands and you're pulling bands, same concept. Those are 2 big exercises you can do. Then you have chair stretches. Stretch out your neck. That's that simple as stretching out your neck. So you can hold yourself here. You rotate your chin towards your left shoulder. Drop the chin down. Hold. Your right hand is holding on the edge of the chair. And you're holding. That's it. Stretches out that levator. Sometimes when you're like this, it causes a lot of problems in your upper joint issues. It's called T and J. Okay? So where the tendon meets the mandible joint, it puts a lot of headaches.